From Ostineville, the city of the elves, the high road ran to the West-gate of Khazad-dûm, for a friendship arose between dwarves and elves, such as has never elsewhere been, to the enrichment of both those peoples. Today, we narrate the life and story of Narvi, the craftsman of the Doors of Durin. The exact date of Narvi's birth and lifespan are unknown to us, but Tolkien gives us some information about his crafts and the unexpected alliances and friendships he made while he lived. More specifically, it can be deduced that he lived during the mid of the second age of Middle-earth, sometime between 750 and 1600 of the Second Age. In Khazad-dûm, when the Dwarf Kingdom, the grandest of the mansions of the dwarves to ever exist, was at the height of its power. During his life, Narvi becomes a great craftsman. It is not known to which dwarven kindred Narvi belongs, but it is speculated that he is one of the Longbeards, as the population of Khazad-dûm is consisted to a large extent by dwarves of that house. The Longbeards is the clan which is most friendly to the elves. In 750 of the Second Age, while Khazad-dûm is at the height of its glory and power, the Ñoldor found Eregion, a great realm which neighbors the Dwarven kingdom, and a great one at Eregion, at the western feet of the Misty Mountains, adjacent to the mines of Moria, the major realm of the dwarves in the Second Age. There arose a friendship between the usually hostile folk of elves and dwarves for the first and only time, and smithcraft reached its highest development. Celebrimbor, the grandson of Fëanor himself, eventually becomes the Lord of Eregion. Being one of the Ñoldor, he inherits an almost dwarvish obsession with crafts, and so he becomes a master artificer. The reason that the realm is established close to Khazad-dûm is due to the fact that in the Misty Mountains east of Hollin, a precious metal, which was named Mithril by the elves, had been discovered. Narvi and Celebrimbor, being two of the greatest craftsmen of the Second Age, form a great friendship. The Ñoldor were great craftsmen and less unfriendly to the dwarves than the Sindar, but the friendship that grew up between the people of Durin and the elven smiths of Eregion was the closest that there has ever been between the two races. As the friendship between the dwarves and the elves grows stronger and stronger, it is decided that the way must be made accessible to the west side of Zirakzigil, the southernmost of the three peaks that stood above of the dwarven city. This way would facilitate contact and cooperation between the dwarves of Khazad-dûm and the Ñoldorin elves of Hollin. So, sometime between 750 and 1500 of the Second Age, Narvi and his friend Celebrimbor undertake this great task. Together, they managed to construct the mighty Doors of Durin. This door guarded the west gate of the city of the dwarves. Here, the elven way from Hollin ended. Holy was the token of the people of that land, and they planted it here to mark the end of their domain, for the west door was made chiefly for their use in the traffic with the lords of Moria. Those were happier days, when there was still close friendship at times between folk of different race, even between dwarves and elves. The Ñoldor of Eregion had managed to create a substance out of the precious metal mithril. This alloy was named Ithildin, which means moonstar, and could only be seen by the reflected light of the moon and the stars. Celebrimbor inlays decorative designs and writings on the Doors of Durin using this substance. And even when these inscriptions appear, mirroring this light, the door still remains hidden until a magic word is said to open it. Thus the construction of the west door of Khazad-dûm is completed, and the labor of Narvi the dwarf and Celebrimbor the Elf-lord is over. Thanks to them and their craft, the two peoples of the neighboring realms are both immensely benefited. Both elves and dwarves had great profit from this association, so that Eregion became far stronger and Khazad-dûm far more beautiful than either would have done alone. Narvi's death is not recorded, but due to his skill in craftsmanship, his name is still remembered until thousands of years later, when the Fellowship of the Ring reaches the west side of an abandoned Khazad-dûm, now named Moria. What does the writing say? I thought I knew the elf letters, but I cannot read these.
The words are in the elven tongue of the west of Middle-earth, in the elder days, but they do not say anything of importance to us. They say only, "The Doors of Durin, Lord of Moria, speak friend, and enter," and underneath, small and faint, is written,
I, Narvi, made them. Celebrimbor of Hollin drew the signs.
These doors are probably governed by words. Some dwarf gates will open only at special times or for particular persons, and some have locks and keys that are still needed when all necessary times and words are known. These doors have no key. In the days of Durin, they were not secret. They usually stood open, and doorwards sat here. But if they were shut, any who knew the opening word could speak it and pass in. At least so it is recorded, is it not, Gimli?
It is, but what the word was is not remembered. Narvi and his craft and all his kindred have vanished from the earth. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one on My Govanen. Namarie.